Salute to the thinking class. We are live and direct. Let me get the you know what music. Let's get it going. You know what time it is. If you're in the class, you know what this means. It's that time. It is the thinking class. We're ready to go. Let's get started. Get the lights up. Get the comments ready. Let's do this. Spirituality and game collides into one. Let me say that again. Spirituality and the game collide into one. What's going on, everyone? What's going on, John? What's going on, T Savage? What's going on, Joe Blast? What's going on, Dre? It's when spirituality and game collide into one. Let's get it. I had to put my hat back on today. When spirituality and game collide into one. The thinking class. The thinking class. Shout out to all those in the chat room. The shape-shifting game. Let's get it. The shape-shifting game. Let's get it. You know, people. Let's get it. Let's go. I know you're listening, you're wondering. This is the shape-shifting game today we're talking about. If you missed yesterday, we're going to go a little bit deeper today. Turn up the stove. It's time to cook. It's when spirituality and the game collides. The thinking class. And if you don't get it, it's your own ass fault. It is when spirituality and the game collides. The thinking class. It's when spirituality and the game collides. It's the thinking class. Let me drop this camera in here. It's when spirituality and the game collides. You have the what? Thinking class. The thinking class. The thinking class. Is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the thinking class. Get off of your own ass fault. Come on. Is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the what? The thinking class. When spirituality and the game collide, you have the what? The thinking class. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's get it. When spirituality and the game collide, you have the what? Let me adjust my chair right quick. Here we go. It's when spirituality and the game collide, you have the what? The thinking class. Blessings to everyone. Blessings to Alfie. I see you, Expert Level Game Channel. Salute to you. Let me say it again. It's when spirituality and the game collide. You have the what? The thinking class. When you have the spirituality and the game collide, you have the what? The thinking class. Spiritually connected, game tight. The thinking class. I know you may be wondering what happened. Had to make some internal adjustments. Let me drop my camera down a little bit. There you go. When spirituality and the game collides, you have the what? The thinking class. I'm repeating myself because I want you to get it. It's when the spirituality and the game collides, you have the thinking class. Where we don't believe in just thinking. We believe, and you got to get off of your yeah. Salute to Alpha Kingdom. Salute, 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 salute. Let me say that again. The thinking class is where you got to move your. You can't just get this and not do nothing. You got to move your John Wesley. You got to move your assets. If not, it's going to be your own asphalt. Let me say it again. So I got a question right quick before we get started, get going into teaching. If you guys enjoy some of the, like this beat and the other tracks that I have that I create, let me know in the chat room. What I'll do is I'll make a playlist that you can get. You got to get off yo. Let me say that again. If you enjoy the beats, you need to say, I would like to have that at my house. I want to listen to it just to remind me to get me in the motion. Let me know. What we'll do is we'll create a playlist with these songs that you can get. Great slogan. When spirituality and game collides, the thinking class. That's what this is about. You caught it. You caught it. Great slogan. That's what it is. You got to get. Let me say that again. Great slogan. When spirituality and game collides, the thinking class. Need that playlist? Okay. I'm gonna create a playlist and put it together. So like this beat. What's up, Sigma? What's going on? Dante Don. So let me say that again. It's when spirituality and the game collides, you have the thinking class. So let's get it popping today. Let's get it popping today. We got what? 0 minutes. Let me drop it down. Jono should be up in a moment, but let's get it going today. I had to put my hat back on just to remind y'all who I really was. Lawrence D. Adams. See the lion in the back. Let me drop the beat right quick. So we talked about yesterday the shape-shifting game. We talked about what's going on, Coach Michael. We talked about the shape-shifting game. We talked about the shape-shifting game. Now, this is going to be something that I want you to get it. Get this low, get this deep into you. This is when spirituality and the game collides. You have the thinking class. You might want to write that in the chat room first. It's when spirituality and the game collides. You have the thinking class. Where you got to move, yo. Is when spirituality and the game collides. You have the what? Thinking class, where you got to move, yo. Is when spirituality, I'm saying it again because I want those in the back of the stadium to hear it. Is when spirituality and the game collides. You have the thinking class, where you got to move, yo. Get it. That's what happens. I want you to get that. Is when spirituality and the game collides, you have the thinking class. Did you hear it anywhere else? They copied it. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. So let's talk about the shape-shifting game. The shape-shifting game. The shape-shifting game. So when we talked about the shape-shifting game yesterday, I want you to get where it comes from and where we're going with it. So shape-shifting in a traditional form means to take from one state to the next state. To go from one state to the next state is to take from one state to the next state. That's shape-shifting. In the indigenous people, what they did was, say, in the indigenous people in South America, what they would do is they would get into a meditative state, and they would change their state. That means they would go from, if wanted to be an animal, they would go into the shape or become into the form of an animal. Now, if they did that or not, I'm not questioning that. But what we're talking about is not that. We're talking about being transformative. The game of being transformative. So when we talk about shape shifting, we're talking about it on the spiritual level and on the mental level. So let me get that again. When we're talking about it, we're talking on the mental and on the spiritual level. We're talking about it on the mental and the spiritual level. That means changing one form to the next, but yet still being the same substance. How does this apply to game? Because we're talking about when the spirituality and game collide, you got the thinking class. How does this apply? It applies very simply. When you're dealing with a woman, men, because this is recharging manhood still, and women come along and listen, is when you're in the motion of changing states, being able, like we said, to be the substance of water, but knowing how to change forms in that situation. So let me give you an example. I remember I had to go to a meeting, and it was to meet, to hear John Lewis speak here at Cleveland. This is before he passed, of course. And what I had to do was think about who was going to be there and who wasn't going to be there. So what I did was I put on my black suit, a nice tie, conservative tie, nice clean shoes, of course a watch, hair clean, beard clean, whatever the case may be. And I walked in not as what I do for a living, but I walked in as the person who not only fits in that situation, but I walked in as an executive. I had the consciousness of being the executive or someone that's important. Let me say that again. I walked in that environment, walked into the hall where he was speaking at. So I walked real tall. I walked with grace. I got my ticket because I was invited by the community, and I sat down at the table. Now, if you were to look at my resume, said I shouldn't have been there, but because I shape-shifted, I became something new that day. I became an executive. I spoke with grace. I spoke with clarity. I spoke as what? A man that was about his business. Not that I might like that any other time, but I had to shape shift into that form that day. I sat at the table and everyone had to explain what they did. So I explained what I did, where I work at and everything like that. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. So they had a couple people came and talked before John Lewis came up. At that time, I seen someone I knew. I seen Dr. Can't think of doctor's name. But I seen him. He's a family friend. I say, hey, doctor, how are you doing? And everyone was amazed that I knew who he was. So I took a picture with him, and he worked at NASA. Shout out to him. And we took a picture, and I sat back down, and I seen some coworkers from my job. And they asked, well, how do you know that doctor? I said, oh, he's just a family friend, just nothing about it. But it changed their perception of who I was, because they only see me at this level that was, say, beneath them. But they didn't see me in this light of when I shifted into who I really was. Let me say that again. Salute. When I shifted into who I really was. Lawrence D. Adams. So me interacting with this doctor, taking a picture with him, world-renowned doctor, worked at NASA, first Black man to be president of NASA, NASA. And it was Dr. Julian Earls. That's actually his name. Shout out to Dr. Julian Earls. Shout out to that Diamond Up. Shout out to you. And we sat there and we talked a little bit, took pictures, talked about family a little bit, and sat back down. When I sat back down and when I heard John Lewis talk and begin to tell his story about Selma, this is the time when the movie Selma came out, and he shared his story and things like that. And I got an opportunity. I didn't really get to meet him, but I stood in the back. And one lady said something to me. She said, I like your tie, but you seem like some man of importance. I said, oh, really? Yeah, you seem like some guy. You're someone of importance. I just smiled, said, no, I said, well, I was brought here by the community. They gave me a ticket to come here. And I smiled and just went on. At that moment, she seen the shape shifting that I did meant on a spiritual level and on a mental level, because I was able to transcend what I did every day to make money, but also she seen that I transcended into someone to the higher level of who I was. And she recognized the importance that I said that I was important. So catch the game that I'm giving you. It's when spirituality and the game collide, you have the thinking class. So even in that example, I was able to transcend from one state to the next state, first mentally and then spiritually, because my spirit touched her. It affected everyone around me, because I was able to what? Transcend from what I do every day into an environment that said I should not have been there. Please peep the game I'm giving you right now. This is when spirituality and game collides. You got the thinking class. So when I transcended into that place and I sat down, I ate my food, the proper etiquette and, everything like that, it transcended. I transcended. But I first, pay attention when I'm going to give you the game of it. I first had to see the image of me changing from from one version of me to the next version of me. Let me get that again. It's when I changed the what? I transcended the image of how I see myself every day to the image of who I really am. And I'm telling you this story because it's real life. It happened. And it is what it is. And what happens is it affected what's going on, Ty. What's going on? Everybody in the chat room. It affected everything around you, me. So how does this apply to you? By shape shifting. You got to be able to read your environment and be able to know when you need to shape shift, not just to fit in, but to transcend the environment that you're in. You got to be able to transcend when you are in that environment. There's been other environments that I've been in. There's been other environments that I've been in where I had to what? Transcend from one state to the next state. But the first step I had to do was do it mentally. Once I did it mentally, how did you do it mentally? Because I know that's going to be the next question. I did it first by seeing myself in a different light. So anybody can wear a suit. Anyone can put on a tie. But when you put it on mentally and spiritually, you affect everything around you. That is shape shifting and the game of it. How does this apply to even a game? Many people want change. They want to see the change around them, but they have not shape shifted the image of who they are. Everyone wants game. I want game. Teach me game. Teach me game. But what has not changed is their self-image of who they are. What has not changed is the self-image of who they are. And because your self-image has not changed, you can be doing all the right things, but be mentally wrong. You can be doing all the right things, but be mentally wrong. If this is making sense to you, let me know in the chat room. You can be doing all the right things, but be mentally completely wrong. You can be doing all the right things you think you should be doing as far as when it comes to the game, when it comes to business, but you can be doing, when it talks to the women, when men, women talk and get interacting with men, your relationship, but you're doing everything wrong. What's going on, Ted? You're not congruent, correct? So shape shifting is for you to get congruent with the results that you want. Your self-image have to be shape shifted into what you want and the results that you want in your life. And so what happens is we have a lot of people who want the game. I want the game. Teach me the game. They go and they binge watch on content. But how they see themselves has not changed because they still see themselves as defeated, as a person who doesn't have game. They see themselves as a person who can't get along with women or who can't get a woman, who maintain a woman. Same thing with men, or that everything around me is going down. Ain't no good women around. Why? Because the self-image that they have is out of shape. So you must have the duality of them coming together as one. So it becomes monolithic. That means that the game shape-shifting is be able to shape-shift your mind and your spirit so it's congruent with what? The results that you want to see in your life. Why am I saying this? Because we have a lot of people who would tell you a lot of facts and figures which are good. But you got to determine will that affect my self-image, how I see myself, or will it not? So the real game is not giving you ABC 1, 2, 3 because it's only going to work for a minute. It's only going to work for a couple moments. The real game is when you change how you see yourself. That is shape shifting the game. The ability to go in and to see yourself in the way you want to be seen. Hence why I have the book, The Secret Invisible Crown. If you have not got that book, The Secret Invisible Crown, you're missing out. Well, I got it already. You need to get The Secret Invisible Crown. Why do you need to get the Secret Invisible Crown? Well, I didn't even know you had a book called The Secret Invisible Crown, LDA. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. I'm trying to look for it so I can get you the link. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. Why do you need to get the Secret Invisible? Let me get the link right quick, and I'm going to add you on, John, in 1 second. Copy. Oh, shoot. Let me add you 1 second. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. I actually just messed up the link. Let me get the link for you. But you need to get the secret and the power of believing in yourself. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown and the power of believing in yourself. Why do you need to get those things? Because they will transform, or it'll be shape-shifting of your self-image of how you see yourself. What's going on, Jono? I see you in the car. You got it rolling.
Everything good? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. What's going on, Mr. 1950? So let me say that again. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. Why do you get the Secret Invisible Crown? Because you need to shapeshift your self-image of how you see yourself. I came up, I don't know if you heard how far you heard into what we were talking about, but I talked about, I said a slogan and it just came out of the ethers. And it was, when spirituality and the game collides, you got the thinking class. It's when spirituality and when the game collides, you have the thinking class. Go ahead, Jono.
I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear.
But yeah, I mean, I heard the Secret Invisible Crown. You plug in your book?
Yeah, I'm plugging the audio book, but now I got to go. I done somehow messed up the link to it, so I got to try to see if I didn't mess it up really bad. But the Secret Invisible Crown, yeah, I got the link. The Secret Invisible Crown, you definitely want to get that book right there because it's about shape-shifting your self-conscious. Let me say that again. You're talking about game. Copy. And the power of believing in yourself. You want to get those two books. Why do you want to get those two books? Because you want to shape-shift your game. So you want your game to not just be on the outside, but you got to also be on the inside. So definitely you want to get those books, The Secret Invisible Crown and The Power of Believing in Yourself. You need to listen to those audio books before you go to sleep and when you wake up. You need to adjust the crown. See, many people don't, John, this is the thing. Many people don't realize they have a crown on top of their head, but they're living like paupers.
It's true. Remember when the Creator made you, He made you in the Creator's image. And what that means is that you are in the family. You're in the kingdom. You're not a pauper. You're not a peasant. You're not sitting outside of the kingdom. You're in the kingdom. As a matter of fact, you sit at the right hand of the Father. It says that specifically.
Yes. And once people realize that, I'm trying to log into my where my books are at. But once you realize, you become a shape shifter. You become a what? A shape shifter when you realize your true self-image of who you really are. So I'm gonna go right to my profile. And I'm gonna get you this book because I don't want people to get this book. I want you to get it and I want you to digest it. And get the link to it. Copy URL. That's right. That's what we want. Copy URL, right? So yeah, definitely. So that's a shape shifting. There we go. Shout out to Mr. 1950. So yeah, I want you to give that. So many times people want the game, but they have not shape-shifted their self-image. Let me say that again. Many times people want the game, but they have not shape-shifted what their self-image of who they are. So the results you get, you might exercise the game on a physical level, but on the mental level, you're still a loser. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So let me say that again. What's going on, William? So yeah, so many times people, so they definitely want to get those audiobooks. There's the audiobook to The Secret Invisible Crown and The Power of Believing in Yourself. Many times people want the game, but they have not shape-shifted their self-image. You have to change how you see yourself in order for the world to interact with you.
It's true. We kind of look at it from a standpoint of, still looking at a point of desire, and yeah, it's okay to want things and desire things, but when we talk about shape shifting, we're talking about becoming the actual thing that you want to be, or becoming the actual thing you want to accomplish, so that you can absorb the likeness and the feeling of that thing, so it could be a part of you, so you won't be asking for it anymore. It'll already part of you. The Bible, the Bible says, "I am that." So if it says, "I am that I am," when you see those words, those are not words put there by mistake. Those are words put there to actually let you know you have to become that which I am. Okay, when you want to have that new car, or you want to have that new house, you want to have that new promotion, you want to have that cure to your particular illness, you have to become the part of you that is associated or on the same frequency as that same thing, and then it will become you.
That's serious.
It's like when Neo absorbs. Remember Neo from the Matrix? He absorbs his weakness and then becomes it, and then he then explodes out the part that he doesn't want. Because even you have to do that with your enemies. You have to put yourself in a mode where you get rid of the part you don't want by absorbing it and consuming the good part, and then it's like you digest it like a meal, and then like your body does, it gets rid of the waste of the byproduct that you're not supposed to have.
Wow, I didn't know that. Pimp God spoke on that same theme this morning about feeling and becoming. You brothers are on it. Why? Because it's funny. We need to get him back on the show. But yeah, you got to become. You feel that's the part I think most people miss inside of the game is becoming it and feeling. In order for this role procaster to be here, I had to feel it to be here. I had to become one with it. Let me say something now. We're gonna jump a little bit because I want you to get good. We're still talking about shape-shifting game. And I have a course on this, and I haven't talked about this course in a long time. I'm going to raise the price on it too. Finding you and me. Finding you and me. So in that course, I say something that's real interesting, and it's going to apply to what you just said. When God made Adam, he made Adam and Eve, but he put Adam to sleep and pulled Eve out of him. If we were to believe, we're going to believe that premise. In shape shifting, and what we're talking about becoming, many times you have not felt the woman inside. And please understand what I'm saying, because I want nobody taking this other way. I ain't talking about you feeling like you want to put on heels and put on pearls. You have not identified the feminine side, the feminine in you to manifest for you in the physical form as her. I ain't talking about you putting on no heels and you want to start bracing, you want to clutch your pearls. I ain't talking about none of that. Because we straight men over here, men's. But I'm talking about your ability to look inside and pull her out in front of you. And many times when you see her, you're looking at you. Shape shifting. Was that did I complicate that or did I make it pretty plain, John?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean that's the reference of most people that are watching in terms of religious, or I would say the Bible. But yeah, I mean these are the building blocks of where we come from, and if you understand that, if you literally understand it, then you get it from a standpoint of the foundation you were taught on, like you were at Sunday school, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's the thing. So you want the game. You realize the shape shifting. You pull her out of you mentally, and you manifest her physically.
Absolutely.
Let me say that. You create her mentally, and you manifest her spiritually. I mean, you manifest her physically. You create her spiritually, and you manifest her physically. When you do that, you'll see that you're looking at a reflection of you inside of her. And she will see a reflection of her inside of you. The problem is many men, especially on the YouTube, because I'm going to call it out, have a problem with the reflection they see in the women around them. And the problem is why they so dog the women around them and say the women are like that, because they have not dealt with the reflection of who they really are. It always comes back to, I'm going to say this, it always comes back to the man. If you got an issue with the woman, check yourself. Why did you pick her? Why are you with her? But I don't want to veer down that road too much. You guys are getting it. That's what it is. So shape shifting, you have to become it. It's a particular car that I want. Me and John will talk about it. I think we talk about now every day. It's a particular car that I want. It's a certain color I want. It's a certain interior, but it doesn't mean anything until I become that car. It doesn't mean anything until I become that car. With me and the car becomes one.
Yeah. When it's something crazy, a lot of cars that I actually rented, the ones I actually rented and had for a little while as a rental, many of those cars became the vehicles that I actually ended up buying. You know why? Because I was in the full feeling of the vehicle. You see what I'm saying? It was like my body had no choice but to take on the manifestation of it because I was already in it. So then I had to align myself with the purchase of it. You get what I'm saying? Because I was in the alignment of wanting it short term. My body made it. Well, my consciousness created it long term. You get what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what you have to do. You said a keyword. In shape shifting, you have to embody what it is you want not just want or desire, but what you want and desire. You have to embody it. So it get to the point where you do not want it or desire it because you already have it. Let me say that again. You have to embody whatever you want and desire to the point where you come to the point where, like, you know what? I don't want to desire it anymore because I have it. But you don't got it, bro. You don't got no Mercedes E-Class 300. No, I already have it. I've been driving it. You ain't seen me drive. I just drove past you. Zoom. You don't got no girlfriend. You don't got women who listen to you. You ain't what? I already embodied that. So that's why, let me say this. What did I say? I've said this many. That's why I don't have the problems a lot of guys complain about it on the internet, because what? It's not embodied in me. I only embody what I want to see on the outside of me.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost like it's like having old news. You know how the newspaper puts together the news story, and they've been working on it for the last maybe 4 to 8 hours, but by the time you hear it, it's already old news. It's sort of like when you put the outward protection of what you want people to see, that's just what you have, whatever your perception to be. It's not the actual thing. It's the news story literally after all the work's been done. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if you think about like that when you're manifesting something, sometimes when you look at somebody and say, oh, well, he's talking about it, but he don't have it, because you don't know what's working on the back end. You don't know what's already in the works. You don't know what's already in the workshop cooking, what's already in the kitchen cooking. Okay, when Thanksgiving dividend comes out, that could be 2 days in the running. You just getting the end result. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's the reason why these the mantras and the affirmations and the meditation on what you want, that's the real work. It's not so much a situation of just, calling out stuff or trolling the situation like you don't have it. No, it's about I am that. I am that I am. So I'm going through the process of attaining it. And even if you don't understand it, you'll understand it once it's manifested. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to reveal. What time is it? Now I'm going to reveal the other side. I'm going to need to be transparent. If you want me to be transparent, let me know in the chat room. I'm going to be transparent. With this, what we're talking about, shape shifting, and I already see the results already. You want me to be You want me to be even more transparent? I'm going to share something in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room. Yeah, LDA, go ahead and be a little share, brother. Share. Let me know what you're going to say. Let me know in the chat room, because let me say this is when spirituality and the game collide. You got the thinking class. If not, you need to move your.
I just thought something. I'm in the car right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The motor spins at the same speed,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what gear I'm in, but you have to shift gears
Mm-hmm.
in order to get to a higher speed. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To go from 5 to 15 miles an hour, it's the same RPMs on the engine. It's just a matter of what gear I have shifted to. So are you in the right gear? You may be using all your energy in the wrong gear.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I'll give you an example. Some people may be working on the wrong kind of project that makes you your money. So you are putting all your effort and your energy in the wrong gear.
Mm. That's it. You're definitely right about that. I need you guys to put a 1 in the chat room. Let's get these comments up in the chat room. Put a 1 in the chat room. I've seen people on Facebook and on on YouTube. Put a 1 in the chat room. But I can tell the difference. Unless our thing is running slow. But it's pretty clear. It's clear. You're clear.
Oh, it's pixelated. It's pixelated for me?
No, it's clear.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I know people are at work and whatever the case may be. Let me say something so you understand this. We always talk about the gospel of responsibility, and we talk about being. And I want you to catch this. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this part that I had to do last night. I had to do some work last night, mental work last night. I listened to somebody teach last night, and I had to realize I'm responsible. I'm the one that's held responsible for why the channel was not growing. What? It's not the technology. It's not this or that. It was me. So I had to go within and take responsibility for that it was me, and stop blaming everyone else in every situation. The moment I did that, I actually slept peacefully. Let me say that again. The
That's
moment,
powerful.
huh?
That's powerful.
Yeah. I couldn't, I was tossing, turn and wondering and what's going on. The moment I said, I'm the one responsible for why the channel is not growing, why it is not doing what it needs to do, it's because I wanted to blame this technology. I want to blame the camera. I want to blame because I don't got this. It's because I don't got that. But the moment I looked in the mirror or the mental mirror and say, it is because of you, LDA, Lawrence D. Adams, is the reason why the channel is not growing, why there's not people here. It's the moment I accepted the responsibility and went to sleep, and I slept peacefully and woke up rested. When I woke up rested, I kid you not, it was like a peace came over me. What did I do? I shape shifted. Sometimes you got to look at where you take what responsibility for why things are not working in your life. And the person that you got to look at is you. Mm-hmm. And when I did that, that's accountability. See, it's easy to blame, well, you know, the camera, the computer, and this and this and that. No, it was me. It was my own self-imposed limitations, my own internal complaining, my own saying what everybody else is blowing up, my own self-talk that was fudging everything up. Well, I don't got enough this and this and this and that. I had to take responsibility and stop pointing the finger at everything else and point the finger at me. It is when you take accountability for what is going on in your life, is when you can shed that and shapeshift into what you've been desiring and become it. 20.
I mean, it's almost like a greater sense of self-awareness, because even if you know some responsibility does sit on the outside of your perimeter, by taking responsibility yourself, you don't put anything that is outside of you to happen before you happen. You see what I'm saying? You have to happen first. Whatever is going to change in your situation, especially if you want to benefit from it, has to happen from you first. So yes, there are some circumstances that are outside your control. Like it was like about a month ago, right? It was the internet, right? But guess what? All you had to do was get involved and make a decision about which one you wanted, and then the world is your oyster. You can then have whatever you want. You see what I'm saying? It didn't matter that the internet was an outside force that you could not control, but you can control which internet to have, and that's up to you.
That's when it began to shape shift to me as I went to sleep. I actually slept good. What do you mean I slept good? I slept good last night because I finally faced, in Michael Jackson's terms, the man in the mirror. I was looking for the enemy outside of me, and it was sleeping with me in the bed. I was looking for the enemy outside of me, and it was laying in bed next to me or in me. It was
You
me.
were looking for the enemy, and it was the inner me.
Yeah. When you do that, when you got to understand that's shape shifting. Let me give you the example that the teacher was saying. She was getting her and her husband were getting the house done, and they were getting upgraded their all their electrical work, so it became a smart house. But somehow they always had a problem with the electricity. Something was always going wrong, and something wasn't working around and wouldn't become smart. And she said, "What is wrong? Why can't you never get the right contractor?" She started, blah, 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 blah. And she finally got quiet and realized the issue was not the contractor. The issue was not that they couldn't get the work done. The issue was she was incongruent on what she wanted, and she was looking to blame them and not realize she was reflecting this situation to happen. Self-awareness is self-awareness. It's self-awareness, it's self-reflection. Go ahead.
No, I said absolutely. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
When you go within, You can do without the excuses. You can do without the people who you are allowing to be the problem, and you now focus on the solution.
That's it. How does this apply to the manosphere? How does this apply to YouTube? If you are constantly complaining about the black woman, and I'm going there. If you're constantly complaining about the black man, I'm going to go there. We need to go back and look in the mirror and look at your dirty. It's you. Let me say that again. You can constantly complain about the black woman. She ain't doing this. She ain't doing that. She ain't right. She ain't this. You can constantly complain about the black man. The black man ain't doing this. He need to do this. But at the reality, you got to think. What in you constantly notice the imperfections in somebody else and constantly highlights the imperfections in somebody else, and it does not manifest in you? Why is it bothering you? Because it's in you.
You know what I just heard? I heard when people label categories, they don't have to deal with themselves. We too often label a category to dismiss a whole race or a whole category of people. We will say, oh, the black man, the black this, the black woman this. What happens is you then get to disassociate yourself from the problem. You happen to be in the same category. You're very closely associated with that category. Why can't you take responsibility? You attracted that problem. Why can't you take a responsibility? It could have been any race. It could have been any type of nationality. How come you won't take responsibility for your part in choosing and your part of attracting that part of it? Because they are good people. I met a very good person, but I did meet bad people in my past. Guess what? Every person I had in my past didn't work out, but the one I have in my present did. Well, guess what? The only person that is the same factor in every one of those situations was who? It was me. So I take responsibility for all those previous mistakes because they obviously all didn't work out until it worked out with me. It actually worked out with the one I chose currently, and I'm making it work ongoing. And I can't say if it's going to be perfect from now on, but what I can tell you is I learned from all those other interactions. I learned from all those other people that I attracted toward myself, and I think I have a much better understanding of what I attract and what I can get from the results of those attractions. So if that's the case, I will now use that new armor, that new ammunition to move forward and put all the lessons. And yes, the person I'm with now will get the benefit of everything I've learned. And I'm happy to give it to her.
That's what it comes down. So that's why it's so important. And I'm saying this again. It's easy to complain about the black woman. It's easy to complain about the black woman, black man. It's easy to complain about that. This one is simping and this one is pimping. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, when you go to bed like I did last night, it's going to be just you and you. It's going to be just you and you. That's the thing. I think what happens is we have people who are in elementary stages of the game or the law of attraction or whatever you want to call this, we becoming. And what happened is they don't realize that they keep picking the same kind of woman. They keep picking the same shape-shifting. They keep shape-shifting and saying, I don't want this. I don't want no girl. Does it? And you keep picking the same type of woman that you can make videos about and complain about.
But you know what? It's not just about choosing who you think you don't want. Your subconscious is happy with the thing you say consciously you do want. And that's not, it's kind of crazy. Like how could you say that you don't want something that you have aligned yourself comfortably with? That's where the therapy comes from. That's where the work has to come from, to break down where your comfort level is to move toward happiness. What you have chosen and what you keep choosing, even though you say you're not happy, your subconscious has aligned itself to make happiness that thing, and that's where you need to transform. And you cannot do that with the other person. You have to do that within you.
Mm, mm. Shape shifting. You have to adjust you. It's something they used to say, Jono. I remember reading this in a book, and it applies here. And people, some religions, I can't think of what religious group says this. I think it's the Gods and Earths, but I think they may say this. But I want to take a little bit what they said. I salute the God in you, and you salute the God in me.
Wow.
They say, "What's up, God?" You like, what? What's on? They're acknowledging the divinity that is in you. And many times we have not acknowledged the divinity in someone else. And that's the reason why we keep getting the devil out of someone else. Let me say that again. Many times we're not acknowledging the divinity in someone else. And that is the reason why we keep getting the devil out of someone else.
It's true. It's hard to recognize what you haven't even admitted in yourself. How can you recognize it outside of yourself when you haven't admitted it belongs? It lives inside you already.
But let me say this too. Let me get some. This gonna be a harsh reality, because y'all be like, wait a minute, this contradicts to what you just said, LDA Jono. Let's keep it 100%, no weaves, and no baggy pants. Some people are messed up. Let's keep it real. Everybody cannot accept this teaching, and some people you just need to leave the hell alone. This is some people that just jacked up.
Some people are functional dysfunctions.
Yeah.
Some people make it work because they like living with the drama or living with the dysfunction in their life.
So don't get me wrong. There are some crazy black men and some crazy black women. Any race you want to say, there are some out there. Let's keep it 100%. I'm not saying go around calling everybody, "What's up, gods? What's up, goddess?" I ain't saying all that. "What's up, queen? What's up, king?" I ain't saying all because I done ran across a couple of them. Couple of them I have a t-shirt by. They ain't gave me a t-shirt, and I didn't even want the t-shirt. They sold me the t-shirt. I thought it said queen on there. Then I found it said something else, heifer. I'm being nice when I said that. So don't get it twisted now. Don't go in this fairy tale lane. "Oh my God, everybody's a king, everybody's a queen. I salute you, God. I salute you, God." Nah, dog. There are some people that you need to just say, "The hell with that. I'm leaving them alone." So let's keep it 100. I know some. Graduated with some. I think I even slept with some. Let's keep it 100. Just keep it 100. But once I realized that I had to make an adjustment. Oh, brother, sister, I had to exit stage left. I realized I was not. This wasn't the performance I signed on to. It was on Broadway, all right, but I didn't sign up to be on that stage. So don't get it twisted around here. We ain't in no, LGA and Jono, they talking that fairy tale gut. Nah, dog. There are some people you need to be like, the hell with this. I'm with the French toast. I'm out. You know it's true, Jono. You know. It looked good on the outside. She had all the curves in the right place. When she opened her mouth, though, baby, I had to go.
Exactly. I can't be associated with second graders.
Wow. Uh-oh, we at 32.
I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to go to court for going with somebody underage.
Right.
If your mentality on the same age as me, I don't want to be around you.
Mm-hmm. Y'all better catch what we're saying. This is Power Pack today. Shape shifting. So don't get come over here talking about LDA's on that sip. We ain't on the sip and sugar honey iced tea. We're just telling you how it really is. Yeah, there are some black people who need to get therapy. White, black, Chinese, whatever, wherever your nationality, you need to get some therapy. You need some help. Everybody ain't queens and kings because they have not recognized who they really are. But back to what we're going, I had to say that because I know I feel like somebody's listening. I sense somebody's listening in the clouds and they're not saying anything. They say, well, they got a simp thing going on. No, there ain't no simp thing going on over here. What you're going to get is raw and uncut, because this is when spirituality and game collide. You have to think in class. If not, you got to move your assets or it will be your own ass fault. So everyone in the chat room, 18, good. You hope you got something from what we talked about today. No, I know you got something from what we talked about today. If this has resonated with you, let me know in the chat room. You say, this was a hard pill today. Oh yeah, it was a hard pill because it needed to be a hard pill. Let me know in the chat room that you got something from today.
I just got my destination, so I'm gonna cut out. Okay.
Cool, no problem.
All right, take care.
All right, peace.
Peace.
You got something today? Let me know. You know what that sound is? You know what that means? Acquire before you desire. Stop focusing on changing people around you and focus on changing yourself. Evaluate yourself to higher levels that reflect your level. Come on. That's to make sure that the dude in the mirror ain't screwed up. Come on. That's just like if I want a woman without kids, but still run into women with kids and be in their face. Correct. Come on, you getting it. Come on. Sometimes we have to see something we just like in people. It's because the thing in us made me see that, Lawrence, when I once asked you about keeping it a clean house. Right. Come on. This guy, this been on you right here. This real game right here. This might be too much for someone. Acquire before you what? Desire. Correct. Alpha Kingdom. It was a horse pill. Correct. The game was heavy. Cool. We out of here, yo. This is Lawrence Diam. I even shared some part of me. I had to make adjustments. Even I had to make an adjustment. You can't talk this game unless you first what? Classic. Gonna be grateful. We watch one day. Peace to everyone. This is Lawrence D. Adams. Catch me tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 12:30 to 1:30. We're going in. We talk about shape shifting, changing from one state to the next state. Get your mama, get your cousin, get your wigs, make sure it's glued in and pat down. Men, make sure you got your do-rags tied up, because this is when spirituality and game collides. You got the thinking class, and we are rising out of here. If you want more, you need to get those books, the Secret Invisible Crown. You need to get that. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. You need to get the power of believing in yourself. The link is in the chat room. You need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. You need to adjust the crown that's inside of you and watch that everyone outside of you begin to reflect that. You need to adjust the crown that's inside of you and watch everyone else begin to treat you as the crown or the person that you really are. The problem is you don't believe who you are. You only attract yourself. You got it, Donnie Don. You only attract yourself. That's why you need to get the Secret Invisible Crown. When you get the Secret Invisible Crown, guess what's going to happen? You're going to adjust who you are. Shape shifting. That's the real game. When you adjust yourself mentally and spiritually and on the physical self, you begin to attract a whole different level of woman. For the men, for the women, you begin to attract a whole different level of man. And you will not only just obtain them, you will maintain them, and you will go to the next level. This is Lawrence D. Adams. I want you to be here tomorrow as we continue in shape shifting game. You need to shape shift. things around you so it fits your game. Because game is not predicated to what you know, it's predicated to what you do. Predicated on what you do. Catch what I'm saying. This is Lawrence D. Adams, and I'm out.